Welcome to the Dangers and Dragons podcast. I'm Adrian, and we're diving deep today into a legend. It's a really cool story, one about heroes, about a conquest, and about a price paid for that victory that, well, let's just say it's pretty unique. But then the story takes this wild turn because when the hero gets home, things get real, like real hard. He ends up facing a totally different kind of battle. We're going to break this whole thing down for you. A knight, his love for a woman named Isadora, and all the choices they both make. And of course, we've got our lore master, Julia, here to help us sort through it all.
Hi, everyone. It's always fun when we get to dig into these stories. And Adrian, this one, oh man, this one is so good. Old pacts and stuff, and then like the whole love and duty thing. This can be a wild ride.
Oh,
Buckle up.
yeah, for sure. So let's get into it. We've got this brave knight, right? But his reason for going off on this huge, brutal crusade wasn't about a king or a country. It was Isadora, this woman he was totally in love with. The story describes her laugh like wildflowers in winter. That image is so powerful, right? You really feel what he's fighting to get back to. This wasn't some holy war for him. It was like this deeply personal mission to be with her again. But this crusade was no joke, especially the siege of Blackheart Keep. And here's where the fantasy stuff kicks in, big time. Not only were they up against like a whole army, but dark sorcery too. Yeah, some serious magic was going down. And at this one super tense moment, which like always happens in these stories, something crazy happens. A crone, like an old woman in a tower, appears. And she gives him this choice, a total deal with the devil kind of thing. Your heart for victory. And hold on. It's not like she cut his heart out. It was this promise he made. A pact tied to him going back to Isadora. It's almost like his love, his deep longing for her became this like shield. It protected him from giving up, gave him strength to keep fighting.
Like borrowed strength, if that makes sense.
Totally. And the whole pack thing, that is so classic fantasy. But it's not just fantasy, right? Think about all those stories. Folklore from all over the world deals with mysterious figures. There's always a catch. There's always a price to pay, right? And this story, oh man, what they asked for, his heart. Not literally at first, but as a symbol. It represents all his deepest feelings, all his hopes, especially his love for Isadora. Makes you wonder about those promises we make when things are intense. What do they really cost us in the end?
Exactly. So he wins, right. But it's not like a party. It's more like a victory that haunts him. But hey, there's good news. Among all the wreckage, he finds this map, and it shows him how to get back home. But the journey home, that's a whole other thing. Every single step of the way, he feels this stolen heart beating like crazy. But it's not from love anymore. It's like this debt hanging over him. Now, picture this. He's probably thinking of how great it's going to be. People cheering, Isadora running to him, right? Nope, it's nothing like that. This servant girl meets him, looking all sad and worried. And then there's Isadora standing in the garden. But she doesn't run to him. She just looks at him, kind of wary, like something's off. No tears, no yelling, just this thick silence. And, they both understand what's happened. Because here's the thing. While he was away fighting because of his love, Isadora had her own battles back home. Famine, plague, the whole kingdom was suffering. And she had to make choices too, hard ones, almost like her own bargains, but not with a creepy old woman. She had to deal with despair itself to save her people, to get enough food, to keep children from dying. She made sacrifices too. Her heart, it was pledged in a different way.
So we've got this parallel, right? On one hand, you've got this heroic knight, the classic warrior. But on the other, you have Isadora. She's leading, but quietly, making these tough choices that no one sings about. And both are forms of conquest, right? We usually think about conquest like armies and battles. But Isadora, she conquered famine. She conquered disease. And, leading, being responsible for others, it takes a different kind of bravery. And it has its own costs.
You said it. And get this. The knight, he doesn't get kicked out. No way. Isadora asks him to stay. Why? Because she sees what the kingdom needs. They're weak, just getting back on their feet. And she knows he can help because of that unyielding heart of his, the heart that made the bargain, the heart that made him strong. She needs that more than, well, romantic love. And suddenly, all those battles he fought, they seem almost easy compared to this. Peacetime, it's a different kind of fight. Helping in the fields, taking care of people who are sick, his armor, his fighting skills, all the things that made him a hero, they don't help much here. And his honor, the thing he worked so hard for, the thing all those stories are about, it's almost like it traps him now. He's stuck in this role he didn't expect. And Isadora, her smiles are different now, not like before when they were just for him. Now they're for the protector of the kingdom, a symbol, not a lover. But he does his duty. He patrols the borders. He leads his soldiers when he has to. His reputation, the fact that he won all those battles, that helps keep things peaceful, but it's a fragile peace. It's built on fear, And he's famous, yeah, but when he's alone, his thoughts go back to Isadora, to the love he fought for and lost. And he keeps that map close. The map to his own heart, the one he feels, isn't really his anymore. It's always there, reminding him of what he gave up. But the real test, it wasn't those big battles or being a hero. It's when Isadora got sick. He was there, watching her. All those sacrifices she made, they were catching up to her. It wasn't magic or a curse. It was just being exhausted. Her heart stretched too thin by taking care of everyone else. And when he cried, it wasn't like a warrior crying. It was like this whole fake hero image he had. It just broke. And when he held her hand, feeling her life slipping away, it was more comforting than any of his victories. Her last smile wasn't for the famous knight. It was for the woman who understood his sacrifice, who in a way had his heart but never asked for it back.
Wow, the whole heart thing comes full circle, doesn't it? We start with this literal deal, putting everything on the line for a win. Then there's Isadora's heart, burdened by her responsibility. And finally, the knight realizes that all those victories, they don't mean much compared to what's in here, in the heart. It's like this reminder. Sometimes when we chase after what makes us look good, we forget what really matters.
So true. So yeah, the stories talk about his bravery, how he saved the kingdom, but the real story, it's way deeper and sadder too. He didn't conquer everything. He couldn't conquer the one thing that mattered most. And that leaves us with this thought. Real honor, it can be a lonely thing. And some wars, the ones we fight inside ourselves, for love and connection. Yeah, sometimes no one wins those. Thanks for being with us on the Dangers and Dragons podcast. What do you guys think? It makes you think about what sacrifice really means, and ambition and duty. You got to think about what it costs. What does it even mean to win? And what kind of hero do you want to be? There are all kinds of battles, right? Not just the ones with swords and stuff. There are battles inside each of us, in our hearts, in our relationships, and those are the tough ones. For more cool stories and adventures, make sure you rate and follow the Dangers and Dragons podcast. Until next time, keep exploring.